is a video on how to install your GS10 Garmin speed cadence sensor. First thing you're going to do is put your GSC sensor on your bike, and you want to see which piece of rubber fits the chainstay best. So it comes with one piece of rubber on there now, and I also tried to put the other piece of rubber on, has more of a curve to it. But I found on my bike that the piece that was already on the GSC fit best. So I'm just going to use that rubber piece. I'm just going to position it on the chainstay right about there. Now that was a mistake I made. I should have made it a little bit closer to the crank. But it has this arm that goes up and down. That's going to be sensing the magnet on the spoke. I'm going to leave it in the down position. So you're going to put it on the chainstay, and then what you're going to use are these ties. You can put these zip ties on, and when you put them on very loosely at the beginning, because you are going to have to move the sensor back and forth once you have all the magnets and everything in place. So a very important tip here, do not tighten those zip ties very tight. Keep them nice and loose. Now this is a pedal magnet and the spoke magnet is attached to it. So you just pull the spoke magnet off just like that, and now you're left with the pedal magnet, and it has a little sticky on the back. And what you're going to do is you're going to take this sticky off and put it on the crank. And what I'm showing you here, this is the spoke magnet, and it has a little backing that you screw on. So now this is a pedal magnet, and what you're going to do is you're going to peel that adhesive backing off, and you're going to put it on the inside of the crank arm, and you're going to put it on just below kind of where the pedal screws in. If you look at that picture, you kind of see where the magnet goes on. So here I'm just making sure it's going to fit and go everything nicely. So now I'm just going to clean it off with a rag, so make sure there's no dirt or grime or grease on there. So now what I'm going to do is just peel that adhesive backing off, and then I'm going to stick it onto the crank arm. I'm going to hold it in place for a few seconds. And now we're good to go with the magnet. And then what you're going to do to hold it in place, you're going to take this zip tie, and then you're going to put around the magnet, and then zip it tight. Now this zip tie here, I didn't leave any slack in it. I just zipped it up nice and tight. And I didn't have any problems with it. And I just made sure that the magnet was pretty close to where the hole where the pedal goes into, so it wasn't an issue. But I didn't cut off that extra zip tie yet either, though. I was a little bit cautious still. Okay, now we're going to put the magnet on the spoke. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to screw that magnet into the back. So you just put the magnet, or the back, kind of the groove, into the spoke. I have a flat spoke, so you want to make sure it's on the flat side, not the groove side. And what you need to do is there's going to be a line on that sensor. You see where I'm pointing at? I'm going to put that facing down. Sorry that the video is not quite showing that. But what you need to do is there's a groove in the magnet, and that groove in the magnet needs to align with the groove in the arm of the sensor. So I'm going up and down, making sure that the groove and the sensor are aligned. Now what I'm doing is I'm moving the crank arm to make sure that the magnet is in the correct proximity of the sensor. Now originally, if you remember where I put the sensor here, it was farther down the chainstay, and so that's where the magnet had to be moved. So I had to move the sensor closer to the pedal. So now what I need to do is I need to take that magnet and move it closer to the sensor so it's in the correct position. So then I'm going to make sure that the lines line up, and then I'm going to do a quick check to see if the magnet works, or if it's going to go past the sensor without hitting it, because you don't want it to be touching either. So here what I'm trying to do is trying to adjust the sensor so that that little arm and the magnet as it goes through aren't hitting. But what I realized is it's not going to work. So I'm going to have to take that magnet and turn it around so that now the magnet is going to be pointing the opposite direction. So what this does is it gives me more room for the magnet on the spoke to go around without hitting the sensor arm. And it's a kind of a clever way to do it, and it still works. So don't worry about, because the magnet's not pointing in the right direction, it's not going to work. It totally will still work. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to press the reset key on the GSC 10. Now I'm going to pair it with my Garmin. I have a Garmin 510. So what I'm doing here is going to bike profiles, selecting the bike it's on, and then go enable. And then what I need to do is I just need to search for the sensor. So I go search all, and the computer is searching, and then when it finds the sensor, it's going to say that the speed cadence sensor is found. So now it's good to go. So now what I'm doing is I'm just going around with the pedal to make sure that it is working. You can see the red light was flashing, and the green was flashing as well. So now that I'm happy with the positioning, what I'm going to do is tighten up all the zip ties and then cut off all the loose ends. And then just tighten them up really tight because you don't want it slipping or moving. And then just cut each one off. And now you're good to go. Oh yeah, don't forget to screw that arm as well, that sensor arm. Make sure that's nice and tight. And just to show you that it is working, here's my computer. I've got the RPMs up working, and the speeds on the bottom working. So there you go. Happy training. Good luck.